Hi everyone, I am on the new deck. I have an exciting update and some very exciting guests with me. So a quick update, we are almost done. We have privacy panels, there's a few more small changes I need to make, but I can start putting things up here. And to help me decide what I'm gonna plant, I have two very special guests with me. Look who it is!
Hi,
Hello.
I'm Eric.
And I'm Christopher.
We're Grow For Me Gardening.
And they are really great people. I am so excited that they are here. I am so excited. They just got in 2 days ago.
2 days ago.
And we have seen so much of Chicago already, but it is your second time here.
It's my second time here.
Your first time here.
My first time.
So we had to get in as much as possible, and unfortunately, they leave tomorrow, despite my begging and pleading for them to stay the entire week. But I'm gonna miss them, but I'm so excited that they are here. So now that we are done kind of touring them around, they're gonna help me decide what to plant on this deck, because ideally I would love to have low maintenance trees, shrubs, and these are the experts in that area. So I think what we're gonna do is just walk around and they're gonna tell me what I should plant where. I'm over in one corner. I have placed Eric and Christopher under the pergola. So one thing that's gonna be different about this space is a part shade environment, which I really have not dealt with. So what do you guys think I should do?
Well, first of all, Bethany, we love your various spaces that you have
Thank
down on the
you.
street, on the parkway,
Aw.
upstairs in front, upstairs in back.
I'm so
over
excited I
here.
got to show you guys in
I
person.
know, and they all have completely different vibes.
They
and
do.
We wanted to start by asking you, in your new space, what do you envision? What's the vibe going to be when you come out here?
Okay, this is gonna be a very different garden style for me, one I probably wouldn't choose on my own, but it's gonna be more modern because the pergola, it's steel, it's black, it's more sleek than any other part, so probably more modern planters, a more formal modern planting scheme is
All
what
right.
I'm
Okay.
thinking, which is completely out of my wheelhouse.
Do you have furniture already planned?
There's a couch on the way. The couch will actually be kind of where you guys are standing. It's going to be an L shape. So boop, boop. Actually,
love that.
probably go to where your right foot is,
Okay.
over to the wall, and then maybe up to about here. But my plan is I have planters that will go right behind you guys all along that wall. So that's one space I know plants will be.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
So in our garden, we garden in the style of what we call contemporary cottage garden because we have a contemporary aesthetic. We have a new home that was built in 2018. We started our garden from the ground up.
And
So
what you've done is amazing.
Well, thank
So if
you.
anyone doesn't follow them, which I'm sure you already do, please follow them.
it's bare, so we started from like nothing.
Right.
And it's a contemporary style home, but we love the cottage style garden, so we decided to meld the two. So I think we can definitely help you out with this contemporary edge and kind of merging in your already cottage aesthetic that you have going on in your other garden spaces. When I think contemporary and I think low maintenance, I think about repetition. I think about evergreens, extremely low maintenance.
Love that.
And I think about shrubs, which are also low maintenance. And then using pops of color with various annuals or perennials.
And I know you had mentioned that you were looking to do more white. So
Yes.
maybe different shades of foliage with white flowers.
That would be pretty because of the black background. I want to make sure whatever is in here pops and stands out.
My immediate thought is I think you need evergreen. So I'd recommend in part shade for sure. Boxwoods would be interesting for maybe a sprinter boxwood in
Okay.
that 3 to 4 foot range. But to get more height, maybe consider a columnar type yew.
That would be pretty.
In our area, we'd have to worry about deer.
Right. We can't grow yews because they would be chewed.
Yes, I don't have to worry about that up here. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think repeating or even alternating those evergreens throughout this space would automatically make it a little more formal and a little bit more contemporary. And for me, as a hydrangea fanatic, we have over 189 hydrangeas in
You
our
do.
garden. And looking at all of your hydrangeas, I love them. I'm excited, but I noticed you don't have any smooth leaf hydrangeas in your garden.
don't.
And I know that there is a brand new hydrangea coming to the market that is perfect for you.
Okay.
It's called Incredible Stormproof. And it's an improved version of the Incredible hydrangea with those enormous white mop head blooms.
Ooh, I like that. I like that.
It's going to be a little bit smaller. It's going to be about 3 to 4 feet tall and wide. So
That's
if you have
perfect.
planters up to here, it's going to be big
Yes.
and billowy still.
I would say the planter will probably be a couple inches taller than that brick railing.
So it'll come up here, but they bloom on new wood. So
Oh, perfect.
You will have to deadhead them or
Yeah.
cut them back in the spring, but they're going to get about 3 to 4 feet tall and wide. And what's been improved about them is the stems, the branches, are much stronger, and that's why they've called it storm-proof, so they won't flop. And then the other hydrangea, sorry, I know you're
That's
dying
okay.
to get in there. The other hydrangea that I know that you don't have is an oak leaf hydrangea.
I do not.
And there is another brand new hydrangea, a dwarf oak leaf called Gatsby Glow Ball.
Gatsby
And what
Glow
I love about oak leaf hydrangeas is they have this enormous bold foliage that looks like oak leaves, turns beautiful leathery purpley red in the fall.
I love
so
a
you'll
fall
get that
color.
fall color. They have bright white blooms. They're panicle shaped, and they'll fade to pink as the season progresses. They bloom on old wood, zero maintenance. You do not touch them. And this one
Okay,
will
that's my
also
favorite.
get about 3 to 4 feet tall and wide. So that's my idea for repeating the evergreens and maybe those hydrangeas so that you get that repetition and that structure. Your turn.
So come with me. Over
Yes.
here.
Let's walk over to this side.
So what I'm thinking that would be really awesome is repeating the evergreens and the shrubs, but then varying in some different perennials, which I know you're looking for low maintenance.
Yes.
So right now we've covered green. As far as our foliage color, you're going to have the rich, darker greens and the slightly lighter greens of the hydrangea. But you need that chartreuse to really explode. So there are things like Sun King Aurelia that look beautiful in shade. And I think with some proper pruning early on in the season, you can keep it size controlled.
Okay.
But that would be really pretty to have the chartreuse up against either the brown or the black.
That'll look nice.
But also another perennial that I think would be gorgeous and give you the cottage vibe in this aesthetic would be that Honorine Joubert anemone. So you'd get that
anemone.
kind of floaty foliage, and it would start blooming now when those hydrangeas had long finished.
Oh, that
But-
will look so pretty.
Playing off of that idea, to have something blooming earlier in the season that will be cottagey, like a rose and geranium, underplanting the oak leaf hydrangea, it'll climb up into it, and you'll have purple flowers earlier in the season. Maybe some lamium to bring like an icy blue foliage in the part shade that'll spill over the containers.
So excited. I know you can't see my face right now, but my mouth is hanging open as they've just
There-
basically planned my garden.
There's just so many things, and I feel like because the way the sun's going to play in here and you've got the white tile on the floor,
Yeah.
there's going to be some light bouncing around. So I think you're going to have a lot of fun deciphering whether or not are we part shade here. Maybe you are
Yeah.
more part sun. You might be able to push things, especially towards the front. In the front areas, I actually think what might be amazing would be a white rose. There is that new, is it Glacier Bay? It's an oh so easy,
Oh, I'm
really
not sure.
easy rose. We might have to look that
Climbing,
one up for
shrub?
dimensions.
What type?
Shrub.
Shrub,
It's like a
okay.
landscape rose from
Okay.
the Oh So Easy series. So maybe at the front here, there's just like roses that cap that off.
Oh, that would be stunning.
Or you go right in there and you find Desdemona from David Austin,
Okay.
which is just the most luscious white rose you have ever seen.
Tell us about this.
Okay, so this is my favorite and the one I feel like I need to ask you guys the most for your advice. So I have here the Titan Arch from Gardener Supply that I got for Christmas and I was going to put on the rooftop deck, but I'm pretty sure that was probably a bad idea because it would have blown off. So I've been saving it for the garage deck. And then I have two planters here from Viradec that the diameter of these is perfect with the arch. So I got those specifically to put the arch in. So that they'll be filled with soil. I'm probably going to try not to plant till next year. We'll see how that goes. But I want something in here that will climb. You guys are the rose experts. Should it be a rose? If so, which one?
I am a big fan of combining a climbing rose with a clematis because then you get bloom time the entire season.
Okay.
On our Gothic arch, because you bought this at Gardener Supply, right? Through our Gardener
I bought it
shop that
through
we
your
have?
store, actually, yes,
we
after
do have a
seeing
store
your
at Gardener
arch.
Supply, which I'm sure Bethany can link for you.
Yes,
if you're
I will.
Interested. But we have a Gothic arch in our garden that we have Generous Gardener, which is a beautiful pale pink climbing rose,
That might look pretty.
paired with Betty Corning clematis, which is like a purpley blue bell-shaped clematis, and then we get blooms all year long. So when the clematis is blooming at the same time as the rose, maybe the rose goes out and the clematis is in, but we've always got something happening on the trellis. The only thing you'd have to be sure of is to pick a rose that has a lower thorn count, which there are many
Yes.
available, because we obviously don't want to be snagging things on it. And you're going to want to make sure to pack this soil full of nutrients.
Okay.
Really, really well draining soil. Lots of organic nutrients for the plants to eat up to keep it strong going the entire season long.
Yeah.
And if you are not sure what you want to do, next year do an annual vine.
That's what I've been going back and
The
forth
coconut appeal
on.
Thunbergia that you love.
That might look good
That
here,
would
too.
cover this in 2 seconds.
Do both. Mix them together, though.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do just one thing on
Yeah.
your trellis. I would do at least 2 plants, so you're always having texture and flowers throughout the entire season.
So would you do a rose and clematis here, a rose and clematis here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And because of the size of this trellis, you could do a shorter climber like Strawberry Hill.
Yep.
You could do Willerton Old Hall. You could do Lady of Shalott
Claire
if you want
Austin.
that. Yeah. You really like that like orangey pink tone.
I
right?
love an orangey pink, yes.
Lady of Shalott would be fantastic.
Okay. Is it a pale orangey pink or is it like a bright
It's
orangey pink?
pretty intense.
And
yes.
the fragrance, when you walk through here, you would stop constantly. And that would be so beautiful if you paired it with a pale blue clematis, one of the ones that reblooms with really big flowers, or even Betty Corning, which stays smaller. And then
Ragucci.
Ragucci, yes, because it's like a dark blue. We'll send you a couple pictures.
I'm going to be referencing this video and typing out my Excel spreadsheet once I'm editing this.
But whatever you're doing, even if you decide to just do an annual vine next year,
Yeah.
it will be beautiful, but do 2 together. Do
Okay.
2 different types, like Morning Glory and Thunbergia. Or what is that, Ruby, the pea?
Ruby Moon Hyacinth Bean Vine.
Bean. The
Bean
Ruby
vine,
Moon
okay.
Hyacinth Bean vine. Pair that with something that blooms at a different time so that you have...
What about that gorgeous Morning Glory with the variegated foliage that we saw?
What was that called?
There was
Chocolate?
chocolate and gray morning mist. We had to Google image
Yeah.
search while we were touring the Chicago
I'll put in a
Botanic
photo
Garden,
that I took. We were at the Botanic Garden. You'll see some clips of that later.
and it was gorgeous. That mixed with something with maybe a smaller dark leaf.
That would be really really beautiful.
Now, one more question for you, Bethany.
Yes.
Have you thought about any sort of hanging baskets or something that you could attach to the front of the pergola here to plant that will give it a little dangle, give it a little softness, a little romance and mystery happening?
A little Dichondra Silver Falls moment.
I
Or
haven't
Super
thought, but now I
Juniors.
am.
Or even if you want to do some like modern style hanging baskets, not where people are going to walk because you don't want them
Yeah.
to hit their heads on it, but just a way to maybe think about softening up the front of the pergola.
I would love that because the only thing I need to be aware of is that the slats do open and close, but the black frame is stationary.
Now we have the same exact thing in our backyard. We have a pergola just like this.
Okay.
Black frame louvered top, and what we have planted in the ground at the base of ours is a rambling rose called Mulvern Hills.
Okay.
And we have figured out a way to train it up the metal by gently tying it in, and then as it gets to the top, it
Going
splits.
across.
And we use a black plastic coated wire to train it along the sides. And we chose purposely a very narrow rambler with minimal thorn count.
Okay.
So there are those plants out there for you.
So when my garden looks identical to your garden, don't blame me.
Well, then when we come visit, we'll feel right at home.
Yeah, I wonder too if there's anything I can attach on, like you were saying something maybe here. I don't know how I would attach
Well,
it.
even think about at the Botanic Garden that we were at
Yeah.
today when they had the mums coming off, going across.
If I get a ladder, maybe I can even set something up
Some kind
on
of
top
hook.
of that black frame, like a
Something-
planter.
Right,
Yeah.
something similar to your railing planters. But maybe
Yeah.
that's more of a hook that comes down.
So this is great because I was assuming, I haven't really spent enough time investigating this system yet, but I was assuming I probably wouldn't be able to have anything up here, but no, the frame itself, there's a lot of it. So I think there is enough space where I can figure out how to put some plants up here.
It's just a thought, and there's no pressure to do any of that. We're just kind of
There's
spitballing
pressure
and
all the
brainstorming.
time to fit the plants wherever I can fit them.
I think it would, I mean, if you had just I mean, you know how they actually, I think Veridec makes those railing planters that look just like the ones I know that you're putting up here.
Yeah.
So it would almost just extend the black out a little bit, but it would hook up and over. So it would be completely clean and just look like an extension out. But then you have your spilling plants coming out of it.
I would love that.
That would be
Yeah.
incredible.
Well, and especially too, so we are close to our neighbors and our neighbors are fantastic, but to have that added privacy too, when you're hanging out and relaxing and being covered a little bit more by plants, I think would be perfect.
The other thing I want you to consider is, because you've been up here a couple of times and seen a squirrel. And I
Yes,
think
my
the
first
reason
squirrel.
is you've got the electric wires running by.
Yes.
Something along the edges here that would look really modern and very chic would be a hedge of sweet romance lavender and the highly fragrant flower, because this is full sun right here, right?
Yes.
So if you did that on both sides, it would be highly fragrant. It would be very cottagey, but because it's all one plant, it would be very modern and contemporary.
So that is one thing I've been thinking of, but you're just getting my brain going, because I assumed that this railing, that this is the last piece they're still working on, is here. I wouldn't be able to plant things here, but if I have a planter that's under it and just comes up to here, I can put it in front, right? You think that would be
can't
enough?
they grow on both sides of it?
Yeah, it can
Yeah.
go on one side and up the other.
100%.
Okay. Oh my God.
Why not?
I have to order so many plants.
We've learned that there are no rules in gardening.
No,
None.
there are none. You
No
do
firm
whatever
and
you
fast
want.
rules. You can do whatever you want. Make it your own. It's your space.
Yeah, like water them once in a while, but other than that, you're fine.
Like, just picture right here on a warm day, you run your hands through here, you get the rosemary. Maybe you have a rose right here, and maybe you just walked through a fragrant lady of shallot that's coming up here. You could even find a clematis like the Ragucii that has the same color flower as that lavender, which would be almost identical in color to the Roseanne geranium that you might have in here. White flowers with a
Purple
rich,
and green is a really
Yeah.
beautiful combination.
Guys,
It's gonna be
I'm so
great.
excited.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a great space. So when are we coming back to install this with you?
Well, you're not leaving. So you're going to live here, and then we will start planting in May after Mother's Day.
Perfect.
That's fine. Have our cats shipped to us immediately.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And we'll get more too.
That's good.
So I know you didn't see my face much, but basically I looked like this the entire video. I am so full of ideas now. Thank you so much. Where can people find you?
Well, first of all, you're so welcome, Bethany. We can't wait to see how it turns
you.
out. You can find us at Grow For Me Gardening on Instagram and YouTube.
Thank you guys so much. Now we're going to go brainstorm some more, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.